Guyana is a small country in South America. It's roughly the size of Gujarat, but has the population of Ladakh. But this thinly populated country has something everyone in the world covets now: oil. Over the past decade, oil companies have discovered 11 billion barrels of oil and gas in Guyana. And this could explain why neighboring Venezuela has now laid claim to Guyana's oil-rich region, a place called Essequibo that accounts for almost 2/3 of Guyana's territory. I'll leave you with this interview of Ambassador R Vishwanathan, an expert on South America, on whether Venezuela will invade Guyana and start a war. Thanks for watching.
Well, I want to make it very clear one thing. There is not going to be a shooting war. There is not going to be a battle. There is not going to be any escalation of the crisis beyond control. And there is not going to be any intensification of conflict which would go out of control. This is for sure. This is a narrow, small political show run by the president of Venezuela to divert the attention of the people who are suffering from political crisis, economic mismanagement and collapse of the economy, and the people are suffering. And the elections are going to come next year. So he needs to divert the attention of the people and unify the voters, create a kind of nationalistic fervor and patriotism for people to vote for him. That is one. And secondly, he might even use this as an excuse to postpone the elections, saying that this is an emergency, the sovereignty of the country is at stake. Because if a free and fair elections are held today in Venezuela, President Maduro will lose. And it is not just a electoral loss for him on the government leaders of the country, because if they lose the elections, if the opposition comes to power, all the top people of Venezuela who are running the armed forces, the government, the petroleum company, the electoral council, everyone will be either put in jail in America or they will be handed over to the International Criminal Court. So the top 100 people of Venezuela who run the country, they are in critical danger. They are afraid that if they lose the elections, if the opposition comes to power, they will lose their lives. So it is a big stake for them. And the United States is very eagerly and enthusiastically waiting for an opportunity for a regime change in Venezuela. And they have tried many times in the past. They tried a coup in 2002 against Chavez. And since then, there have been many covert attempts and overt attempts. The Venezuelans do not want to give an opportunity for United States to intervene. Now, there is also another factor. It's not just only the sovereign issue on the part of Venezuela. Brazil has a stake in that. You know, since the Venezuelan government is a leftist government, ideologically, President Lula has been supporting. In fact, the very survival of Chavez was to a large extent because of the support extended by President Lula at that time. Now, President Lula will not allow the government of Venezuela to escalate the crisis, which would attract the intervention of the United States, which would use the issue to either invade Venezuela, to bomb Caracas, or set up permanent base in Guyana, in the disputed region. And that is a danger not only for Venezuela, but for Brazil, because Brazil has a border with Venezuela. The Brazilians, they do not want the American military presence in their neighborhood. So this is another layer of safety that the crisis will not be allowed to go beyond control.
News 9 Plus. Download now.